Welcome everyone to another video in the accounting software playlist. I think we're up to number 10 now, I'm losing track. Plus it's been a while since I did the last video, so my apologies to those who've been waiting around. And not that you're sort of waiting there on the edge of your seat for the next. But I know I have had one comment that I will mention from a follower, keen follower, who's been with me for a little while. And well, I won't bring it up, but basically if you look on the YouTube, I think it's the last video that I did, he just commented he looked forward to the next video, wondered where it was. No, I'll tell you what, I am going to bring it up because I thought if he's taking the trouble to message me, I think it's only right that I should mention it. Here we go, I think it's on this one. Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. The guy with the hat. And he's just basically saying, I haven't seen you in a while. And obviously with current circumstances, he's got there's issues as we're all finding we've got issues. I don't think anyone's been immune from what's been going on in 2020 and 2021. But he said he's wants to see what's going on. So I thought, well, do you know what? If people are asking about the videos, I have been a little preoccupied with Twitch, setting myself up as a Twitch streamer, more to do with the game stuff that I've been developing on Node and P5 and stuff. But because I have a full-time job as well, and I'm trying to do all this, so maybe there's more. Maybe I'm going to have to cut back on something. But I do like doing this accounting one because it's something that is. I like to do. It's what I was trained in, the accountancy side of things as well as the code, and so it's just sort of a nice combo to put together as a YouTube vid. So anyway, enough of my ramblings on. I want to get back into the video, and this is another one of them apology videos because again I tried to stream this to Twitch and I made the changes, but the stream to Twitch, I forgot to record it. So that's been and gone. But I've made the changes. So I didn't want to undo all those changes and then start again to make the YouTube video. So I'm going to do, I think I did it in one of the previous videos. I can't remember now. I do so many takes on one video, I can't remember if a particular video has gone live the way I've done it that way or not. But anyway, my apologies. We're not going to code as such today, or certainly not all of the code. We're just going to spend a bit of time looking at these changes here. This is my current Git status on the repository. So you can see that there's a couple of new files and some changes to some files. And I need to get rid of that certificate. That was just for me to do a set up Homestead. I don't know if any of you are developing Laravel. By default, you can, well, not by default, but you can use a setup called Valet, which is like a very quick setup just to get yourself a local web server, the DNS, and the database, and obviously the PHP and the Laravel script. Well, the PHP. And it just means that you can very, very quickly throw up stuff in Laravel in the Valet system once it's all up and running. But I was finding, especially with my day job, that we were dealing with a lot of sites that had different versions of PHP associated with them. See, ordinarily, I keep this PHP stuff as up to date as I can, but when you're dealing with clients' work, it's not always that straightforward, and you have to sort of pace the upgrades and that, which means you can be running sites with different versions of PHP at the same time. And with PHP recently going from like 7.4 to 8, that's meant we've got various sites. So what I've done is I've installed Homestead, which is like a more, I want to say it's like Docker, but I don't know Docker enough to know if it is. So, to all you virtual machine and Docker purists out there, if I've made a wrong comparison, I apologize. But it's that kind of thing where you've got like a contained environment, and you can specify things such as the version of PHP, which database you use, each within their own app. So yeah, Homestead allows you to do that. So what I've done is I've set up Homestead. So I have my normal terminal here, which is in my normal Valet folder. But I've also set up Homestead with my small accounts, which is just this folder is like a virtual map to the Valet folder. But this is inside an Ubuntu machine. So if I just sort of exit out of this, if I vagrant into this, so this is like a virtual machine called Homestead and Vagrant. I don't know what the relationship between the two is, but basically, as you can see, on my Mac here, I now am running this in an Ubuntu machine, 20.4 LTS, which is ideal because that is what I run my web server on, my personal web server. So it means I can mimic my local environment to suit the server it's going to be going on, which means compatibility issues are massively reduced. So that's great. That's really, really good. So anyway, that's enough of that. We're in the small accounts folder. Now, so let's go back to the Git status here and have a look at the different things I've done. So let's have a look at the new files first of all. Config small accounts. So I have my pstorm here somewhere. Here we go. So config small accounts. So let's have a look on here. So on the last video, we set up the sales ledger, and in fact, let's just go back to what I actually did on that. So my apologies if my screen, if I start fuzzing on the screen, the light, well, I'll explain in a sec. Let's have a look. So what happens is the light from the screen increases on me, which affects the green screen chroma key, which sometimes starts putting speckly things on. Yeah, you can see it there. And that's simply because I've gone to a white screen, so my apologies if that keeps flicking in and out. In fact, can I turn that down? No. I'm going to try and tinker with that in some way. That's a bit darker, isn't it? Okay, let's try that. Oh, actually, yeah, you won't see the screen change, but you will see the reflection on me change. Anyway, I'm rambling on. You can tell I haven't done this for a while. Let's get back into the mood. Let's get back into YouTube mode. Come on. Let's do this. Okay. So we had the sales ledger, which was, we did that calculation, if you remember. We got this £600 here. We also have I believe we still have the trial balance. What was that? I can't remember the root. Since I've moved it to Homestead, I have not used it, so it's not stored the root in the URL. But the root is there, nominal hyphen accounts trial balance. Let's have a look at that. So nominal hyphen accounts trial balance. Let's see if this gives us something. Yes, it does. Excellent. So you can see this here. This is the sales ledger. Oh, was that a clickable? Did I make that a clickable thing? Click. I did. I forgot all about that. So that's the 550 plus 100 is 650 on the left, 50 on the right. Nets off to 600. I'd forgotten I'd done that. That must have been a few videos ago. That's so cool. Even if I do say so myself. Anyway, so that's the trial balance. Now, although the sales ledger was 600, what I've also done on the Twitch video which failed is I did the purchase ledger, and so I've got a purchase there of 200. So effectively what I've done is I've taken the code that works for the sales ledger and just copied it across to the purchase ledger. So you can see here one of the new files I've created is the purchase ledger index. So this config small accounts, I think in the last video I just hard coded the ledger, what was it called, in the sales ledger. I think I may have just hard coded here maybe, or it might have been in the PHP file, I can't remember, but I think I may have hard coded the sales ledger account rather than stick it in the database. I think it was in here actually. I think it was in the model. Yeah, because then I used it here. So now I've stuck that in a config file. Now again, it's still not ideal, and ultimately it should go in to either the M file or probably, to make it more dynamic, into a database entry, but we'll come back to that later. Okay, so yeah, so that's been moved to a config file. So that's what that is. Where are we? Config small accounts. So I've just put them as references there. Eventually they'll go into a database entry or something. What else was on that Git? So resources, JS, pages, purchase ledger. Now, you can imagine if you followed along with the sales ledger, you're going to know what this is. And it is effectively just a mirror image of the sales ledger. But, the purchase ledger has credits and debits reversed. So, it's this is just literally a listo. If you go to sales ledger, as you can see, it's literally just a mirror image, as in it's just referring to the purchase ledger. So what else is on there? Let's have a look at the Git. So we have the change to the sales ledger controller. Let's have a look at that. That's here. So green lines indicate a change, which I'm not seeing. Why am I not seeing? Let's do a git diff on that. I'm wondering if I've actually moved something out of that. What did I do there? Did I just... Let's try that. Oh, okay. So all I've done there is just removed a die and dump. So okay, that was just a tidy up, so we can ignore that. So let's go back to git status. App models purchase ledger. Well, so yeah, again, you can imagine very similar to the sales ledger. So the sales ledger had that get amount attribute. So the purchase ledger, exactly the same. Purchase ledger line relationship, and this method. Now, so obviously these two methods are very similar. They just work slightly different, as in that's debit and that's credit, and that's credit and that's debit, because obviously purchase ledger will swap around. But other than that, these are very, very similar functions. So it's possible I could move these out of the models into another common place and refer to them from each of the models. That's a strong possibility that we could do that. I don't know if we'll do that today, but definitely we will address that at some point, because they do not need to be two separate methods there. So we'll come back to that. App model sales ledger, again, I think it was the same thing. I can't remember what I did with this. Oh, wrong one. It looks like there's something there. Oh yeah, so that was when we were hard coding the sales ledger ID, but that's now moved to the common file. So yeah, all good up to now. Config small accounts, so we've dealt with that. It's new and edited at the same time. Okay, that must just mean here regardless. We've altered the database seeder. Again, I think that's just for purchase ledger transactions. If you've done the sales ledger and followed that along, you'll know exactly what's happened here. So yeah, these are the green ones, the green bar here, and we've just got a purchase invoice line, the lines nominal header, and the nominal header nominal transactions. Because remember, we said every purchase ledger line and every sales ledger line and ultimately every nominal ledger line can have one or more lines of transactions against it, and each line of transaction has a debit and a credit code. So for example, a sales ledger line may have a net amount, a VAT amount, a discount amount, maybe a premium amount if it's a surcharge. All of those can be catered for by this grouping of nominal transactions within one nominal header that is associated with that line on the sales or purchase ledger. Again, watch the previous videos if you want a bit more of an explanation on that. So that's the compiled file. Purchase ledger's index, that's again, we just said that earlier. The roots web file, I think it's going to be just the purchase ledger stuff, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, literally I've just had this resource here for the purchase ledger. And I don't know why that's introduced itself. Okay, there's a git ignore file in the log file folder. And then we have this purchase ledger controller. Oh, excuse me, my nose. really itchy. Resources, JS. So yeah, for some reason, I don't know what the difference is between. I have numerous discussions about Git with various people who I work with. Well, one developer I work with, but others on Stack Overflow and that. I need to sort of get my head around what these different sections are exactly. But anyway, purchase ledger controller. Again, it's going to be a mirror image of the sales ledger. So, we've just got we get a list of purchase ledger transactions. Yeah, it's all stuff you've done already, just related to the purchase ledger. So, if you've not seen my previous videos, please go to the previous videos in the playlist. And that is it. That is the changes I've made that I did on Twitch. So what that leaves us with is that we now have, as well as the sales ledger, which you saw a minute ago, of 600, we now have the purchase ledger of 200. So transactions on both sales and purchase ledger can now be made and can be rendered in their respective sections. There we go. So we have our trial balance, and yeah, very happy with that. With clickable links, new feature, and that balances off nicely. So, incidentally, I'm thinking the purchase ledger should be a plus figure on the right. I don't like the fact it's a minus on the left. Let's change that. I think that'll be in the seeder actually. So if I go to the database seeder and is there like I vaguely remember it being like debit or something. With the sales ledger. Sales is nominal account create, name sales, default credit. Yeah, so I need the purchase version of that. So suppose if I go to the nominal account table, and there should be a purchase ledger. So that's number 7, purchase ledger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's this one. But I've got this one, sales ledger, and sales. Oh, of course. So sales is the code you put the sales against. Sales ledger is obviously the credit control. So this, I believe, needs to have default debit. No, credit. Let's try that. Let's run the migrate. I think I've got that in here somewhere. Better run the config cache actually, just to be sure. Okay. So let's reload the page. Yeah, there we go. Purchase ledger 200 on the credit. That is where it should be, I think, because you debit the side with expenses, but you credit the sort of the credit control of the suppliers. Yeah. So much more happy with that. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we'll call it. We'll end it there on this video. What we'll do in the next video is we'll look at maybe some interfaces, some such simple ones to get going, maybe to put some nominal transactions in. Then we'll advance up to the sales invoice, purchase invoice, and we can start expanding out into those areas. And hopefully we'll get to stock control, maybe even assets with depreciation. There's lots of things we can do. And I've got a few little things up my sleeve as well that I want to introduce that I think might be interesting. They may not actually work as well as I'd hope, but just some ideas I want to introduce that, just something different. We've got conventional accounts, but let's just add a few little extras in there as well. Okay, so thanks for watching. I know this has been a brief video tonight, coming up to half an hour. Thank you for watching. This will go up as a YouTube video on my playlist. Please, if you want to keep seeing this kind of video, please click the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. If you found this video interesting, which I don't, you probably didn't, I'm going to be honest, because it's just like a repeat of the sales ledger one in reverse. But if you did find it interesting, please like the video. It does help. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.